to another episode of High Voltage. I'm your host, I'm Mackenzie Nelson, and I am here to help you get excited about your journey, to get energized, because this is the only life you got and you're living it right now. So you can either plug in, connect to the source, and start living with that energy fully infused in your being. Or you can check out and go through the motions and pretend like everything is going fine when you know that you're struggling. But it takes getting real, right? It takes looking yourself in the mirror and getting real with where you're at if you really want to make that change. First, you've got to acknowledge and pinpoint the things in your life that are no longer serving you. And then you got to decide if what you're saying yes to is for you, or maybe it was for you in the past. Is it for you now? Is what you are saying yes to for you now? Or are you just saying yes because you used to say yes all the time and that's what you're used to doing? You're in a habitual pattern of saying yes. And maybe those places are no longer serving you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm so excited to get to it. How to be present and the power of saying no. You're like, what? You said no? The yes girl said no? Yes, I did. Now I know I talk a lot about being open to the present and the possibilities that it has for you and being ready and waiting with your yes for the opportunities that present. But sometimes in order to free yourself for the opportunities to where you're being called, you have to say no to the things in the past that were consuming your time. If you're someone listening right now that says, well, I don't say yes to new things coming along because I have so much going on, right? Okay, well, now is the time for you to take out that notebook and that pen and start to write down the places where you are investing your yes. And then how you're feeling about your yes in those areas. And I guarantee you, if you will invest just 5 minutes to write down your schedule, the people you're hanging out with, the places you're going, visiting, the places you are investing your time, you're going to find at least 1 or 2 places where you really are getting a poor return on your investment for your time. You're not feeling fulfilled in those places. You're not feeling like you're having fun, right? Like you're energized, like, yes, like I'm excited to be in these places, and you get to choose that. Yes, I know we all have to go to work. We all have to make money, right? Well, if the place you're going to make money isn't serving you, there is room there. There is room there. Write it down. And I challenge you to pray into that and ask God if He isn't calling you to a new place of work, a new position in the company, or maybe you're not having as much fun as you usually do, hanging out with this same group of friends you've kept around, for decades. It doesn't mean you kick them out of your life. No, you can still keep those people in your life, but it just looks like rolling back the amount of times you say yes to that particular group of friends to open up your time for new possibilities, new friendships, to explore, right? If you don't have any time in your schedule to explore places and people and new relationships, if you haven't allotted any time for anything new to come into your life, how are you ever going to move out of the place you're in right now? If you're feeling stagnant or unhappy with your circumstances or your life, you get to decide how you want to approach it and how you want to change your life. And just because you said yes once to something doesn't mean you have to keep saying yes to that same thing. If you're looking to get out of your comfort zone and say yes to something you hadn't considered before you and discover it's not for you, now you know one more area that isn't for you. Say no next time and use the new information you have gathered by saying yes the first time to help propel you forward the next time you're open to exploring something else. Now you know one more thing that isn't for you, and that is not a bad thing. But saying yes requires you to touch base with God. When you get a new opportunity, and I say, be open to the present moment and the opportunities that you have in that moment. Just because you get presented an opportunity in that moment doesn't mean you necessarily have to take it. Maybe it is something new you haven't tried before, but if you're feeling that catch, you know, that inner voice, that feeling of like that kind of like, you need to pray into that. Is it fear? Are you just not wanting to get out of a comfort zone? Or is it something you're feeling because that's not for you? You might get excited thinking about doing it or think maybe this could be fun, but maybe that's not where God has you spending your time on that particular thing. If you've never prayed about present moment opportunities, now is the time to start. Sincerely reach out to God and ask, do you have this for me, God? Is this for me? You may feel weird or funny if you've never done it before and it's your first time really kind of reaching out. I know I did, but that's really what started me and led me to this place, into this calling to have a podcast, to write a book. It was a slow progression over time. After you ask, seek the answer. And you will find confirmation one way or another. And that all depends on how God decides to uniquely speak to you. You know, just like no two snowflakes are the same, no two people are the same. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that just brings me to a sense of wonder and awe. And the reason that we are created differently was intentional, because it's all according to our uniqueness. He knows us inside and out. He constructed us. He built us for a purpose, for a destiny, for such a time as this. And He is the one that knows you intimately. So He knows why He made you, and He knows what is going to align with you, your purpose and your destiny. So when you reach out and you ask Him for answers, you're going to hear Him. And I tell you what, it's going to be in a way that is completely suited for you. He knows what you like, whether you love to listen to music, you love to read, maybe you're a television person. He has often used all of these sorts of media, Facebook, everywhere. When I put a question out to him, sure enough, I'll start hearing things. Like if it's a song, a particular set of words just stand out to me. I call it being highlighted, where they're just a little louder, or almost like time stands still while they're playing. And they're exactly what I needed to hear to confirm something I was thinking about saying yes to. And I know when I hear it, I know when He speaks to me now, because I keep asking. I have established this pattern with God over the course of the past 3 to 4 years of my life, seeking, asking, waiting, hearing, receiving. And once I get that confirmation, I know it's for me and I know to go for it. I know to go with it. I know that's my yes. If I'm having a harder time getting confirmation over something and I'm praying and it's just not coming, that's a no for me. But it could be a timing thing. It could be a no for right now. So I never say no, never, ever. I always keep the door cracked open when someone comes to me with an opportunity and I'm not feeling it's for me for right now. There's usually a reason that I discover later on down the road why I didn't initially accept that opportunity. God can tell you situationally what to say yes to and what to say no to. While it's easy for me to share my experience and my journey with you guys, He has one that is all your own, an adventure for you to go on. I'm just sharing my experiences, hoping for you to understand that it is possible for you to have a direct line of communication with God Himself, to hear Him speak in your life and to receive impartations and direction as to how to live your daily existence. And when you tap into Him and you trust Him to show up and you keep seeking Him, He will show up and He will change everything in your life. Everything. The way you view yourself, the way you view others, the way that you see the world will change. The possibilities are endless when you know it is possible to hear from Him. And I'm telling you, I do. My husband hears from God too on a daily basis. My son, my daughter, we often will pray as a family together if we're looking to make a big decision or even something smaller where I feel like, oh, I'm not sure, and sometimes that does happen where it's not such a definitive yes and it's not such a definitive no. So what do I do when it's a maybe? That's when we all come together as a family and we all pray and we ask God, and we'll literally go around the table. This has become something our family does very often in our family. And we will go around the table and I'll ask Lincoln, what did you hear? Nevada, what did you hear? Brett, what did you hear? And sometimes if I want to take out that feeling that maybe one of my kids is just saying something because they heard it from the other kids, we'll be like, 1, 2, 3, go. And I tell you what, 99% of the time, it is the same answer. The same answer they will both have. I mean, it's awe-inspiring. And a lot of times, this will be the way that I make life decisions. And it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't always make sense in conjunction and in correspondence with your life. And sometimes it doesn't even seem like a logical thing to do. But I go with it anyway because I trust and know that God is real, palpable, accessible, loving, kind, good, and He will always work all things for His good. Even if it seems way out of my comfort zone, or even if it seems like something that I really, why would I do that? Like, I don't really have much interest in that. If I'm hearing go and it's all aligning in our family with what I'm hearing, I go ahead and I take that opportunity. I take that coffee date. I take that job, whatever it is, even though it's out of my comfort zone. And I'm like, this doesn't seem like maybe it fits with what I'm doing. There's always a full circle effect when I trust Him. There's a reason why every time I put myself out there, or when I'm seeking that yes and it comes and I go with it, even though it would not have been something Mackenzie would have chosen, it's always better than what I thought. And it always works out better than I could have imagined in some crazy alignment where I end up meeting someone who has a similar story as mine, or who needed to hear that bit of encouragement at the exact same time we connected. There's always purpose, and it's rich, and it's like opening up a treasure chest of gold every time I watch Him show up and do something I didn't expect. And it just makes, hard life circumstances melt away into the backdrop when you are living and experiencing this level of understanding with God and trusting Him. It's not that I know. Mackenzie doesn't know. It's because I'm operating out of a place of humility. I'm like a little kid, right? Little kids ask questions because they don't know the answer. And I ask God questions like, I don't know what's best for me, God, but I trust You do. And when I'm open to that, and when I'm asking questions and I'm going throughout my day and I'm checking with Him, is this it? Is this what You have for me? It feels so comforting and reassuring to know my job on this earth was never to be perfect or to have it all figured out, to be the smartest person in the room. No, that's not why he put me here, right? I believe he put me here to experience love and to make connections, to know people, to hear about their journeys, to learn about him. We can see how the animals move in nature, and we can see his heart in their actions, and we can learn things about what he made in his creation, and then we can explore that within ourselves. And I can just get lost in a place of just pure awe when I think about how he made everything here for us to be enjoyed, to be explored, to be lived in full. So if you have been saying yes to too many things that are not aligning and serving you well, meaning you feel peace, right? That's what it's about, that inner peace. Yes, we may waver depending on life storms or what gets thrown at us, maybe a death in the family, or, a very hard friendship, or someone struggling. We certainly do waver. But when we're tethered and we have that inner peace, he is always going to prevail over any circumstance that you are struggling in. And he's going to show you who he is when you trust him with your life and with your journey, knowing that you never had to have it all figured out. But he sure does. His ways are higher. He sees the whole picture. Where we only see from a singular perspective, he sees from everyone's perspectives. So he may have you saying yes to some things that don't make a lot of sense to you, but he knows these people over here, they're needing you to show up in this place that you normally wouldn't. And then when you do and you meet those people there, man, connections happen, joy, love, overflowing abundance for so many different purposes. So don't be afraid, say yes, but clear your plate. Make sure the things that you are saying yes to are things that you are feeling, worthy in, that you are feeling fed by, that you are feeling purpose in, that you get excited to do when you wake up the next day. If you feel dread to things you're saying yes to, those are not for you, and you don't have to do them. You get to choose what brings you joy. You have a choice. Don't ever let anyone make you feel like you don't. That is never God. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you take a minute, take a breath, remind yourself of the present. We are in officially the busy holiday season, and if it's anything like mine, filled with fun parties, joy, all the things, but also comes some of the stress. So just remind yourself to breathe. Everything is going to be okay. And I'm only telling you what I tell myself when I have moments where I feel like, how are we gonna fit this all in? Another thing. But remember, if you do feel too stressed, there comes a point where it's not okay. It's okay to shift some things and to take them off your plate. And if that means you have to tell some people no, watch how they respond to your no when they're used to hearing your yes. And that really does tell you a lot about, that person, whether you're friends or family or otherwise. Always try to partner with people who do their best to extend you grace. Have a great weekend, guys, and I will catch you next time.